Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a chilling, real-life 1949 incident that actually inspired what a lot of people consider to be the most terrifying film in cinema history. We're going to strip away all the Hollywood fiction and look directly at the true, deeply unsettling events exactly as they were reported. So let's just get right into it. I want you to picture this. Imagine it's 3:30 in the morning. The entire house is dead asleep. Suddenly you wake up to this distinct scratching sound coming from another room. Now at first you probably try to brush it off, right? I mean, it's probably just a rat in the walls or something settling. But then the scratching keeps going. And worse, it's accompanied by the sound of crying. You rush out of bed to investigate, and you find your 14-year-old child frantically clawing at the floor. You ask them, "What are you doing?" And they look up at you and deliver this absolutely terrifying response. "It's not me doing this. Someone is making me do it." This chilling moment from a boy we're going to refer to as Roland sets the stage for our investigation today. We are tracing the chronological timeline of an unbelievable, fully documented true case file. Section 1. The scariest true story. Section 2. The cursed board game. So before all the terror started, Roland was just an ordinary, playful 14-year-old kid. His real identity, by the way, has been heavily protected for decades because of how severe this whole thing got. The inciting incident of this entire ordeal actually began super innocently. His Aunt Tilly brought over a Ouija board one day. She told him the board would literally let him speak to the dead. Well, Roland just treated the whole thing as a joke. He was completely unaware that this simple piece of cardboard was going to precede a massive, massive upheaval in his life, starting with Aunt Tilly herself passing away suddenly and completely unexplainably shortly after. Section 3. Escalating paranormal activity. Following her passing, the true horror just rapidly escalated. I mean, it went from 0 to 100. A few weeks after Aunt Tilly's death, those terrifying 3:30 a.m. scratching incidents started happening. At one point, Roland's mother heard 3 mysterious knocks on the door, which she honestly thought was a sign from Tilly. It's kind of fascinating how quickly intense grief and that search for meaning can amplify our sensitivity to the unexplained, isn't it? But the thing is, it didn't just stop at home. Weeks later, this phenomena actually followed Roland to his school. There was this drastic, frankly terrifying duality in Roland's behavior. It was like a Jekyll and Hyde situation. During the day, he was a perfectly normal student, but at night, or during these sudden episodes, his teachers and parents reported him throwing objects, harassing the other kids, speaking totally unknown languages, and communicating in this really deep, demonic voice. Something was deeply, deeply wrong. And after a standard psychologist gave him a perfectly clean bill of health, his mother knew she had to start looking elsewhere for help. Section 4. The church steps in. Completely desperate for answers, the family reached out to a man named Father Luther Miles Schulze. Suspecting a dark presence, he took Roland into his own home for an overnight observation. And what he saw was sheer chaos. He literally watched Roland's bed shaking violently all on its own. He told Roland to get up and sleep in a rocking chair, only to watch that very chair start spinning in impossible, perfect circles. He saw the boy get thrown to the floor by an unseen force, and he even witnessed unexplained scratches physically manifesting on Roland's body right in front of him. Realizing this was way beyond his capability, Father Schultz advised him to immediately go see a Catholic priest who actually specialized in this exact phenomena. So they went to Father Hughes. Now, during that meeting, a heavy telephone flew off the priest's desk and completely shattered. Roland fell into a deep trance, speaking in that harrowing voice again. But the absolute crucial turning point is what happened next. The scratches on Roland's skin literally began to form a distinct word. It spelled out Lewis. Interpreting this as a massive sign, the family fled their home to go stay with relatives in St. Louis, Missouri. Section 5. The final exorcism. Down in St. Louis, the Archbishop was alerted, and he assigned Father Bodern to the case. Knowing that provoking an entity like this was incredibly dangerous, Father Bodern very systematically gathered specific tools to perform the official Roman ritual. We're talking the crucifix, holy water, the Bible, and the actual Roman ritual book itself. The situation at the relative's house was becoming way too violent, so they had to move Roland to a secure psychiatric ward in a Catholic hospital run by monks. They were actually even joined by a scientist and paranormal investigator named Professor Bob, which, if you think about it, highlights this really intense clash between the spiritual and the scientific, all happening in one room. Inside this ward, the rituals pushed the entity to its absolute breaking point. The priests witnessed Roland levitating off the bed without moving a single muscle. He was so completely out of control that a purple shawl was violently ripped right off a priest's neck. The priests desperately needed a breakthrough, and it actually came in the form of a statue. They brought out a statue of St. Michael, who was recognized in the faith as a spiritual warrior famously known for defeating demons. Well, the moment Roland laid eyes on this statue, his body contorted violently. He started foaming at the mouth, and then he spoke in a completely new, booming voice, a voice the priests firmly believed belonged to St. Michael himself, officially commanding the spirit to leave. The priests quickly restrained Roland with that torn purple cloth and completely doused him in holy water. And then, just sudden, total silence. Roland collapsed back onto the bed, completely still. He opened his eyes, looked up, and quietly uttered just 3 words. He is gone. And the craziest part, at that exact moment, a loud noise echoed through the entire hospital, and a shadow of St. Michael was reportedly seen at a church right nearby. Section 6. The unbelievable aftermath. Okay, so following the exorcism, the church basically initiated a super strict cover-up. The priests involved maintained a lifelong vow of silence about it. Those specific ritual books and that exact St. Michael statue, they were locked away in that very hospital ward forever, totally hidden from the public eye. The media only ever caught these faint, diluted whispers of what actually went down in that room. But what about Roland? Astonishingly, he just went back to being a completely normal 14-year-old boy. Despite enduring weeks of severe, intense psychological and physical trauma, he retained absolutely no lingering supernatural attachments. None. He went right back to school, resumed his studies, and just seamlessly re-entered normal teenage life, which really speaks volumes about the incredible resilience of the human mind, doesn't it? Even after confronting unimaginable horrors. And in just the ultimate twist of fate, the boy who was once at the very center of the world's most famous demonic possession case, the literal inspiration for The Exorcist, he didn't let this trauma define him at all. He grew up, lived a highly successful, scientifically grounded life, and incredibly, he actually became a rocket scientist for NASA. I mean, you literally can't make that up. Which really leaves us with a profound question as we wrap up this explainer. Does true evil actually exist in the unexplained, or is the human mind simply capable of projecting our deepest horrors into reality? Did a genuine supernatural entity visit a 14-year-old boy back in 1949, or is there a complex psychological and scientific explanation that still completely eludes us today? Whatever it is you believe, the facts of Roland's case definitely remain one of history's most captivating mysteries. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today, and remember to always keep questioning the unexplained.